What the fuck is going on with Bitcoin here? We have seen a massive dump, a massive sell-off here, just from our local highs down to where we fell down to earlier today. It was a minus 16% drop, and obviously most of this drop happened just within the space of a day. So super quick sell-off here. Right off the bat, we've got two key reasons for why this happened. This guy, Immortal Crypto, wrote a beautiful thread about it. The two key reasons are super simple: Evergrande filing for bankruptcy and SpaceX selling $400 million of Bitcoin. So we're going to break this down, especially the SpaceX one. But before we get further into this video, this is a lot of big price action here. It has tilted things in the market. It has reshaped the landscape. Thank fuck, ladies and gents. I mean, I don't care if we're going up or down. I don't want to be living through something like this all the time. So, anytime we have moves like that where nothing's really happening in the market, you already know the deal. That's just a step before a really big move does end up coming. I actually closed a little bit more of my long position. This is a screenshot from a little bit earlier where I still had a 35k profit still in the trade. I decided to move up my stop loss on the rest of my trade, so I have a guaranteed minimum profit of 144% on the remaining position that I have here. And I closed 50% of what was remaining at basically the same price as right now, a little bit higher, about 220% profit. Nothing crazy, good little gain there. I'm super happy with it. I do want to let you guys know that I made this trade on Bybit, and I've been using them since basically the beginning of my trading journey in crypto derivatives. But what's really cool is that actually ending in about like 2-3 days from the time of me making this video, they're actually refunding up to $100 of your losses if you make a new account. And they'll actually give that to you in terms of copy trading vouchers. So you can go and copy somebody else's trades. Literally, the system will do it for you. And they will give you a $100 voucher for that if you lose money when you sign up. So that is really cool. And that's in addition to the 30k you're already getting. So it's fucking crazy. Obviously, I make most of my big important trades on Bybit because it's my most trusted platform. Already gained 140k on this trade. I think I put in like 100, 110, something like that. And I'm still sitting in more than 17 unrealized profit. So super happy with this position. You guys have seen it going on since the very beginning. Check out the links in the description to take advantage of this huge offer. And BingX as well, with a huge advantage, not requiring KYC as well. So those of you that are a little bit more privacy minded, that's going to be great for you. And they are offering over 100k in bonuses as well. You also have access to traditional finance, so stocks, gold, forex, a bunch of other shit. It's crazy. BingX is the place to be. Definitely do check it out. Let's get back to the charts here. Let's talk about what the fuck is going on. We lost this support level right here. This was the big deal. I was expecting support here. That didn't happen, so my analysis was wrong there. That's completely okay. If we zoom out onto the daily time frame and look at the daily 𝗢𝗙𝗦𝗙𝗡𝗏, this is what I'm getting at when I'm saying that a lot of things changed. There's so much to unpack in this video, so we're going to go one by one here. Smash up the likes if you are excited. We did lose the daily 𝗢𝗙𝗦𝗙𝗏𝗏, so that's not good. We've been successfully using this cloud as support going back 160 days. So, to lose something that you've used well effectively for 5 months is not great. And this cloud has now closed and it's become resistance. So if we don't recover basically by the middle of September, then we're probably going to be facing resistance from the same cloud, which, is definitely something to be aware of. What I will say about this was a quick steep sell-off, and this like Elon Musk selling Bitcoin thing needs to be looked into. But the first thing I'm going to say about this, because people don't fucking seem to understand just basic, this is quite basic economics. It's not even economics. It's just basic fucking trading mechanics, right? Is that if somebody has sold $400 million worth of Bitcoin, they don't have that Bitcoin anymore. The only interaction, the only way they can possibly interact with the market now after selling is by buying again. And that's really important. Now, you might be worried that like, oh, Elon Musk lost confidence in crypto and stuff like that. Look, dude, like he clearly didn't understand what was going on from the very beginning. The dude bought a fucking 35k the first time he ever bought Bitcoin with his company. So, super smart guy, but just not very good at buying Bitcoin. So I'm not even gonna like make a comment about that. But what I do really like is when, supply has been offloaded. If those Bitcoins have already been sold off, then the dump has happened. I don't know why you would be particularly scared. It's already happened. The worst of it is over. It's like, a major car crash is about to happen, but you're only scared about it after the car crash happens. It doesn't really make sense to me. So that's one thing to keep in mind. And again, yeah, it's just the fact that once you've already sold, you can only buy again. You've hit the red button as much as you can. The only button available now is the green button. So, we don't get excited when people buy Bitcoin. I want to be very clear with you guys about this. Like, if you actually understand how it works, right? If you actually understand how these markets work, when people have already bought Bitcoin, then the only thing they can likely do is sell it. Okay, so we don't want the headline of people buying Bitcoin. We want to be in there first. Okay, and if people are selling Bitcoin, they're equalizing that playing field a little bit. It is not the curse that people think it is. If we go ahead and refresh the 𝗬𝗢𝗥𝗙𝗧𝗧 dashboard, I don't know if this is updated yet. Wow, look at this. Look at this, the lowest fear and greed rating we have had for an incredibly long period of time. I'm going to give this a little bit more time because I don't know if it's actually updated yet. I will give that a check a little bit later on, but a 37 rating on the fear and greed index is fucking crazy. We haven't seen a rating this low for an incredibly long period of time. Just yesterday, we had a rating of 50. So we have dropped down by 13 points just in one day. We don't typically see big drops like this, and we certainly haven't seen a big drop like this for an incredibly long period of time here. This was a comparatively big drop, and this was only 9 points. So we fell down 13 points here with the fear and greed index. It is one of the steepest drops that we've had basically since probably around like here, or even these big drops here in March. So sentiment is clearly pretty shot. People are very, very scared. People are very upset. People are panicking. People think that the market is going to crash, and there's very good reason to believe that, especially when we tie this in with the stock market. And that's what we're going to get onto next. But what I want to point out is, now that we can see with a visual representation, other than just a hunch, that people are quite bearish, quite fearful. They've really kind of fallen to the other side of the pendulum here. Now I want to step back and be like, okay, but where are we technically? Fuck your feelings, fuck your fear and your uncertainty and your doubt. What does the chart say? Where are we actually right now? And we're still above the 25k level. In fact, we only wicked down to 25.3, which is exactly where I said I'd be expecting support, and we're still holding here. So if we lose this level, yeah, we're in trouble. We've now lost a critical major area of support, and it will also mean the end of our structure of higher lows. So that would not be good. All of these things for the short term, for the midterm, show us that we should probably continue to drop down if that happens. And that's something that we've been talking about for an incredibly long period of time. I was very confident that 25k will hold, and it did hold. The risk is that now that it's held once, obviously if we keep coming back down here, we are likely to break it if this kind of bearish trend picks up a little bit more steam. And the reason I'm saying that is quite simply because coming down here in the first place isn't a good thing. Yes, I expected support. Doesn't mean it's a good thing if we get here. That's the same thing I was telling you guys on all of my YouTube videos, even though, yeah, I did expect that we were actually going to be, moving up. I just had every sign to tell me that was the case. I finally had some signs from the market telling me that actually, yeah, we're dropping a little bit lower, and obviously I've taken my profits all the way up at these heights. I mean, I've closed my profits on my Bitcoin trade super, super high. That's why I was sitting in such a massive realized profit. I already closed most of my profits off my Bitcoin position a very long time ago at way higher profit numbers as well, where I closed a lot of this position. So, for me, there was no rush. There was no reason to be worried. I had played it beautifully. VIP members that joined by following the link in the description down below saw every single step of this trade. And in fact, you guys saw every single step of this trade as well, because I was incredibly public about it since the very beginning, as I am with all of my trades, have been basically for an incredibly long time now, well over a year, maybe more. And so, that's gone absolutely beautifully. I'm going to be watching to see, are we able to flip some of these resistance levels and recover some of this? Because, a lot of the time when something like this happens, if we actually look at, data that shows things like open interest and so on, we've actually got a situation in the market where a lot of positions closed with this big move down, and if a lot of positions closed, I'm not going to pull up the data right now, just take my word for it or Google it yourself. But if the open interest shoots down, when the market crashes, that tells us that a lot of positions have closed. Open interest is just a measure of how many positions are in the market, right? And if that number of positions drops, that means these positions have been closed. And the only way you can close a position when the market is falling, the only way you can close a position is to close your long. Only longs can close during this kind of situation. So it tells me the same thing that I was just saying about Elon Musk, is that these people that already pushed the green button only had the red button available to press. That button has now been pressed. Right, we're done. It's cleared out. Are we going to have a second wave of that? That is what we discuss in this video. That is the question. That is the $1 million question. But the first wave of it has already happened, and this is why I think it's worth just kind of reeling ourselves in and understanding that if there is some sort of quick recovery here, if the market tomorrow, over the next few days, over the weekend or whatever, next week starts to recover back up, then this was just a perfect long squeeze. This was just a perfect way to upset the fear and greed index a little bit, not drop below any major areas of support. Yes, we lost local areas of support, and yes, that's not a good sign, but we haven't lost a major area of support. We're still in the same range. One of the ideas I covered with you is that Bitcoin just kind of ranges sideways throughout the next 2-3 months even, because that would make a lot of sense from Bitcoin's perspective here. Then this all puts Bitcoin in an incredibly strong position to now just kind of slowly start that climb back up to the top of this range. And this is something that people are not talking about, right? Everyone's talking about now a very low price of Bitcoin and so on. And again, there's really good reason for that. I'm going to show that to you in just a moment here. But what's really important, I think, even much more than that, is just keeping our heads level, right? We're going to talk about the idea of Bitcoin dropping below 25 and the disaster that would happen there. But I also want you guys to be aware that, a lot of people are super scared right now. This move has served its function of flushing out the market. Is it totally unreasonable now to say that we do something like this? Absolutely not. No way. It's not unreasonable to say that, in my opinion, guys. Smash up the likes if you are enjoying this video, and let me know what you think about all of this as well as we are going along. I do want to highlight for you these beautiful offers. Again, in the description, you have over $200,000 in bonuses, and the stuff over here is amazing because it takes very little work from you to get these bonuses, just minutes. You just got to sign up, start trading, and that's it. You're going to get these deposits. You're going to get these bonuses credited into your account and so on and so forth. But it goes a very long way, especially at a time like this. There's just not that much abundance, right, in the market as we've been used to. So every little kind of boost you get, it just shortcuts you. That's all these bonuses are designed to do. They're designed to give you shortcuts so that you get to where you want to be a little bit faster. And obviously that's super important because these markets are all about timing. So check them out. They're huge offers, both phenomenal exchanges. Bybit definitely still the best in my opinion, and it is where I made this beautiful trade. So jump in with me if you are interested. Obviously, if not, that's completely up to you and completely okay. Let's talk about the stock market. This is where we're going to turn up the heat a little bit, and this is where we do have some bad news for crypto. So the stock market has been turning back. This is something I warned you guys about. The S&P 500 topped out. S&P 500 is rallying beautifully over the last few weeks and months, but Bitcoin did not follow. Bitcoin only followed at the very beginning, but over the last 1 or 2 months, Bitcoin kind of stopped trending up, and the S&P 500 normal stock markets continued to enjoy that sunshine. So the warning I was giving you, and I probably just said this in my most recent video too, is that if Bitcoin doesn't enjoy the sunshine, when we finally start to get a little bit cloudy, Bitcoin is going to really suffer. And that was the warning I gave you just in basically my last video when I was talking about the S&P 500. And that is exactly what's happened here. See, the S&P 500 topped out more or less where I was saying I'm expecting it to. From down here, I was telling you guys, even around here, I was telling you guys I'm expecting a big rally to the upside, break this red line, rally up. Beautiful stuff. It all happened so close, so accurately compared to what I actually said. And now the result is that now that the S&P 500 is pulling back, Bitcoin is moving with it. And this is what I think is actually happening. I don't think it's because a company is filing for bankruptcy. I don't think it's because Elon Musk decided to sell his fucking Bitcoin or anything like that. He's selling Bitcoin on the OTC market anyway, so it's not like that caused the drop. And by the way, if we actually do come back to this tweet from Immortal Crypto, this guy actually mentioned something really, really important, which is that it doesn't state, the article from Wall Street Journal doesn't state that SpaceX has sold their Bitcoin, but obviously because everyone's doing clickbait and stuff like that, that's what people are reporting. So that's important to distinguish and understand, Maybe they did still sell it. I'm sorry, I didn't show you that. Maybe they did still sell it. Maybe they didn't. Doesn't really matter. But WSJ article in no way states that SpaceX sold it, and here is the actual article anyway, if you are interested in reading it. I don't know if this is cut off on my screen. Maybe you can read it like this. So you know, I mean, it's an important thing to consider. You know, I just don't want us to be, you know, kind of jumping to conclusions and stuff like that, because it's just not good practice. But you know, what I think and what I've been telling you guys about, you know, the wider ebbs and flows of these markets is very straightforward. You know, it doesn't take a genius to understand. That's how most of these dynamics are in the market. These are huge markets. You know, I really don't think that they are as complex as people think they are. You know, what I think happened, quite simply, and this is always backed up by the data. So, you know, you take that as you will. The only thing we have as traders is data, you know, and so I take data quite seriously, and it's always backed up by data. You know, when traditional finance is doing well, crypto's good. In this case, it wasn't. But when traditional finance is doing poorly, you know, obviously that's when people want to take their money out of risky places. Because if the safe place isn't making money, then why the fuck are you going to keep your money in the risky place? I'll give you a great example. If Bitcoin is down 20% and you're also holding an altcoin which is down 30%, because altcoins just get hit harder than Bitcoin, why are you going to hold on to your altcoins if you want to if you want to de-risk, which is what everyone does in traditional finance and in the big space, in the big money games? Everyone wants to de-risk. People don't like risk. Okay, you like risk because you're in crypto and you don't understand risk. A lot of the time, I don't know if that's you specifically, but obviously the crypto space in general doesn't understand risk. They don't understand how risky what they're doing actually is, and that's why they lose their money on flash crashes and FTX and Luna situations and stuff like that. You know, but for the most part, what we need to be very, very aware of is that traditional finance loves to de-risk, and they are only able to de-risk if they're only willing to de-risk if the market does actually drop down. So S&P 500 dropping down here is a clear example of, I think, just, you know, a souring kind of attitude in the space in general. You know, and that is hitting Bitcoin as well. So, you know, if this does worsen, I definitely think that we're in for a bit of a challenge. I think we're in for a bit of a problem here. You know, I think that the S&P 500 has a long way to go, and that's kind of where the primary risk stems from. You know, if we look at the support levels that I've got outlined here on this chart, we've gone from, you know, 4,400 here. I'm all good, thank you. We've gone from 4,400 here to you know, now, I mean, support levels down at about 42.90. It's not great. This is not a good position for the market whatsoever. You know, because we you know, our support level is a little bit lower from where we are right now, and if we fail that, our next support level is even lower than that. So, you know, I mean, we've got, you know, a little bit of empty air over here, where, you know, we can expect the S&P 500 to continue dropping, and that's basically just a result of its success. If you look at its trend up, it was you know, pretty straight line up, which is why we're seeing a pretty straight line down. And so, you know, I think that this can, you know, probably get a lot better once the S&P 500 gets down here. I think this is a really good area of support. I'm not going to rule out this area of support either, kind of 42.70, 42.90, and then 41.50. They're both great areas of support on this chart, in my opinion. You know, those are the kind of bounce areas that I'd be expecting, and you know, where that could take Bitcoin, I don't know. I mean, that is a big question mark. Could it take Bitcoin just back down to 25K? If that's the case, then fucking great. You know, we're still holding on. But if not, and we start plunging below, then we're probably in some shit. Before we get there, let's talk about the dollar quickly, because this is also very important. The dollar has been very strong. The dollar lost its critical area of support and didn't really do anything about it, and is now trending up and is about to potentially set a slightly higher high compared to its high that it set at the very beginning of July here. So that is something which is interesting and worth keeping an eye on. If the dollar does start rallying explosively, then, you know, this almost turns into more of a political discussion, and, you know, we'll have to talk about that separately, because I don't have the facts and data around that yet. It's just not something that I look into, but, you know, if the dollar does break out, then I'm probably going to want to know why. You know, I don't necessarily think that's going to happen. I think for the most part, as we've seen it happen just over this last year, basically nearly now, is the dollar has just been trending lower. It has been punching in lower highs and lower lows. You know, I mean, and the lower high situation is so incredibly clear. You know, it doesn't require any further looking into as far as I'm concerned. If we ignore this one, you know, Bitcoin can even go basically as high as this red line. I'm sorry, the dollar can even go basically as high as this red line right here at 105. and then continue to drop down. I see absolutely no reason for the dollar to be strong in this current climate. It's absolutely everywhere with BRICS and just with the whole world not wanting to be under the United States thumb. That's just the way the world is going, whether you like it or not. It doesn't matter which country you're from. That is just the direction that the world is heading. They don't like to be dependent on the United States. They don't like to be at the mercy of the United States, and they are taking things into their own hands for better or for worse. And so in light of that, why the dollar is rising up, I don't know. It can only be something temporary. It can only be something small, not particularly meaningful, because the bigger picture is fucking bad for the dollar right now, as far as I can see. And so again, that should be something good for Bitcoin. The fact that the S&P 500 is close to support, and that's where we're going to expect Bitcoin to start enjoying a little bit more relaxation, at least just a little bit more of that. And obviously with the dollar, not really having that much space to keep going up unless it's going to have a big breakout, I do think that puts Bitcoin in a slightly better position than you might first think. But now let's talk about losing this area of support. If we lose the 25k area of support, where are we going next? Let's see if I've got a chart with a bunch of lines. I don't really, but that's okay. That's even better. So we'll go ahead and remove this. This isn't in play anymore. And if we go ahead and look at our support area and 25k here, illustrated by this box very beautifully. This box actually stretches down to 24.3. We already know this. Our support levels aren't exact. They're more ranges. They're not really lines. They're more of a range. And visualizing these as ranges really helps us to not be surprised, not be caught off guard, and stuff like that, especially if we start putting trades to these ideas. Like if you have a line right here, and then you might be like, okay, well, my stop loss can be here, but someone like me using a range, I'll actually understand that actually the support stretches all the way down over here, so I want my stop loss a little bit lower than that, and maybe that just means that my leverage is a little bit lower and stuff. It's really important. It's good practice. This is the kind of thing that I teach you guys inside of the _𝗲𝗡𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏𝗏 Academy, which you can get. Most of you get it for free when you join VIP. And that is it's something which is really, really important, good practice, because if you don't have it, you're gonna make little mistakes, and they're gonna add up. Like 2-3 little mistakes like that before you enter a trade is gonna make you choose a worse entry or a worse take profit, and so on. So good practice is good. It's not hard to do either. But if we do lose this, then for me it's just going to be these next kind of big bounce zones that we've had on the chart, and I am going to refrain from using boxes here, because otherwise the whole fucking range will be a box. But the two areas that probably stand out to me the most are going to be 22.5 and of course 21.5, around about here, maybe just a little bit higher, like 21.4, yeah, about here. Great areas of support if Bitcoin does lose this 25k area, and so I will expect some bounces there. But if we do lose this low, again, like I said earlier, that does mean that we've now lost the structure of higher lows, and that in itself could be a sign that actually the market is going to tumble way lower, and that actually we have lived out the bear market rally. Because this is something else that we've been very aware of. Even though I've been very bullish since $17,000, I've been very bullish, calling for 30k and even possibly 40. Even though that is the case, I've also been extremely clear with you guys that we are still in a bear market rally. Okay, you can be bullish in a bear market, but only if you know when to stop being bullish. And so obviously I was bullish from the bottom. I was bullish with my money from here right up to here, and I'm now kind of scaled down in my position. This is what a good trade looks like. You enter at a low, you take profits all the way to the top, and then you take more profits when the trade starts to get invalidated. That's what a good trade looks like. It's not ideal. I'm not opening at the very bottom, and I'm not closing all of it at the very top, because that's just not how trading works. You don't actually get those home runs where you do 100% of it correctly at 100% of every stage. If that's what you're aiming for, you're a losing trader. I already know, and you're not going to get better. If you try and go for a more realistic approach, then you're doing a lot better, and that's, I think, what we could be looking at here. So let's dive into this a little bit more. Support levels here. The issue, like I said, is we would be losing this structure, and if that did end up happening, I would be expecting Bitcoin to slide significantly lower, perhaps even down below 20k. And the reason I'm saying that is because this would probably just turn into a massive kind of rising wedge, rising channel of sorts that collapses down. And obviously if it's going to collapse down, it's probably going to have to reclaim this low, and even go significantly lower than that. So that's where these ideas of 10k and stuff like that do come in play. It's too early. it's too early to say that that's where we're going right now, at least for a trader like myself. I'm not worried about it. Obviously, I can't be worried about it. I've been in Bitcoin for many years, so my days of fear and panic over these markets are long gone. But you know, what I do think is still worth talking about is, you know, obviously if we do start to collapse below these areas, then yeah, what are we looking at? And so, you know, that is, I think, a peek at what we could be dealing with here. Before we do continue, guys, I also want to let you guys know that I'm quite active on Twitter now. I have been for a little bit and on and off and stuff like that, but check it out if you are interested. I got my check mark back. That's cool. I had it before the blue thing, and then they took it. It was super weird, but now they've given it back just today. But yeah, posted this on Twitter. I'm active here, guys. Go check it out. There's going to be some cool stuff here, insights on the markets and stuff like that, and a little picture of me with a Doge. So this is the only kind of Doge you'll find me investing in. You know that I'm not a shitcoin trader, but I do love dogs. So Doges are still cool. I might actually get a Doge. Let me know what you think. But yeah, it's a cool page. Obviously, I'm just shit posting. I'm just chilling here or whatever. But definitely do check it out if you are interested. And then as for the bullish arguments in this market, because I do want to cover all bases here, it's just about reclaiming the areas of support that we lost. You know, so we've got this resistance line now at 26.7. If we can get above that, especially if we can get above this stuff quickly, we're good. You know, I think a lot of this is going to depend on when US markets open, which is going to be in a few hours from now. I'm making this video very early. I'm going to come back with another one later on today, so make sure you are subscribed. You know, when those US markets open, that's when I think we can start talking about this a little bit more, but I'm not expecting good things to happen in the US markets, considering where the S&P 500 is, for example. You know, but if we are able to reclaim these levels, and especially if we can do it quickly, then we're kind of back in the game. Right now, we're in a bad place. Right now, we're in a place where actually the most likely thing I think we do is this, or we do like something a little bit like this. You know, I think that's what we're looking at right now. If we're able to recover above this line, then I'm going to get way more bullish, because just the simple fact that we've had this big crash but recovering back up tells me, if we recover back up, it tells me that this move was successful in, quite simply, just closing out a bunch of longs, flushing out the market, bringing the market back to a little bit more of an equilibrium, so that we could, you know, carry on with whatever we wanted to do. But again, I do think that this market is going to be at the mercy of traditional finance, and if traditional finance isn't doing well, then that will probably pose some issues for Bitcoin. So there you go, guys. I really hope you have enjoyed this video. You know exactly what to do. If you have, check out the huge bonuses available to you with the links in the description down below. I have a bit of a runny nose. It's one of the reasons I haven't made a video over these last few weeks, but I've just been like super sick. Life has been punching me constantly with weird sicknesses and like little injuries and shit. It's been super weird, like on a hike, just getting like weird injuries I never get. But whatever, I'm gonna stop with this weird shit now. I'm back. I'm always here. You guys don't need to worry about it. I know I'm not too active, you know, at certain times when the market's not moving, but I am always here. By the way, if you're looking for that Twitter link, it is down here in the description. And anytime there's volatility, you already know I'm going to be here. I made a post in VIP last night. I made the same post in gold. Check out the Telegram channel if you haven't done so already. Get your bonuses on these beautiful exchanges. Thank you all so much for watching. I really need to go. I can't keep on talking, so I'll see you all in the next one. Cheers.